It's not a Hollywood ending film. This is a film that deals with real life, deals with kids that are dealing with real struggles that don't have giant Hollywood endings or people coming in and saving their day. This is just how they struggle through life.
Back on the zoo with the director of this great, incredible movie called The All-Americans, Billy McMillin.
Hi, Billy.
Billy. All right, Billy. Oh my God, I am obsessed with this film. I literally had all these emotions. I was crying, I was angry, I was happy, I was sad. It was just like everything was happening, and I just love how I watched this film, and I didn't feel like I was watching high school kids playing football. I thought I was watching an NFL film. It was incredible.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I mean, that was really what our intention was. We wanted to make these kids larger than life. We wanted to this community was one that I kind of stumbled into off of a tiny little story, and this was one of those things where you wanted to make this game larger than life. We actually, for our game, we hired NFL Films guys to film a normal high school football game. This game that's become legendary in the community, and so yeah.
Give us the background on the story that it's based on.
So this is based off of a game that's been going on since 1920 in East LA, and it's between the two high schools in East LA, Garfield and Roosevelt. And for 80 years prior to making the film, this game had been played. In the 60s, I think it was moved to East LA College, and about then, the attendance of the game went up to around 25,000 people going out to the, and this is people largely from the community that are coming out to to this game.
Now, why do you call it the All-Americans?
Well, I mean, the film is called The All-Americans because the film is about much more than the game. The film is the game is basically how we frame this community, but these kids are really what this film is all about.
And I love that it touches on volumes on the American identity, which is always changing. But there's so much in this film about dreams, that everybody has a dream. So what do you hope the people take away from this film?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to make the film was I wanted to do a film that did explore American identity and did see American identity as it's changing throughout this, throughout the years, especially throughout the last few years. As far as dreams, this is really, it's not a Hollywood ending film. This is a film that deals with real life, deals with kids that are dealing with real struggles that don't have giant Hollywood endings or people coming in and saving their day. This is just how they struggle through life.
All right, tell us about some of the people that you cover in the documentary that we should be looking out for. Who are some of the central characters?
One of my central characters is a kid named Mario Ramirez. He's a wide receiver for Roosevelt High School. This kid with a sparkling GPA. He's almost a 4.0 GPA, has big dreams to go to Stanford or Yale or Princeton, yet lives in a mixed status home, 14 people in a 3-bedroom home, and struggles, goes to school, works at night in a convenience store in the back room in the freezers, and yet is trying to make the most of it also on the football field.
Yeah. Oh, his story. I mean, I don't want to ruin it. I cannot ruin it, but he was the one that touched me the most. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it happens to so many, like growing in a Hispanic community, like you just see it happen so often. So people just need to watch it. I don't want to ruin it.
There's so much heart in this documentary. So, from a directorial, which I guess is a word, standpoint, how did this project differ from some of the other works that you've created?
Well, this is my directorial debut.
Wow.
So
you killed it.
It's kind of a big deal. I've worked as a documentary film editor for about 15 years, and so I've worked on things that are true crime. I've worked on things that are, I did a film about 7-year-old championship golfers called The Short Game. It was Netflix's first original documentary. And so, I've done the gamut of films. This one's just truly special because it's my own.
And I saw something about Becky G being an executive producer. How did that come about?
Well, Becky G she saw an early cut of the film and got really excited about it. It speaks, the film speaks to the story that she grew up with as well. And so, I mean, it's funny because when I heard Turn the Music Up, it was one of those things where she raps about like all of the things that these kids are going through, the same issues, in the film. And so, she actually, reached out to us, or I don't know exactly how all of that came to be, but when she did, she wanted to basically get this film out to as big of an audience as possible, and
And this movie is coming out in theaters, right?
Yeah, so this movie comes out in theaters on November 8th in LA and New York, and then it kind of expands out to Texas and to Colorado and other places in California and New York as well.
Now, there's going to be so many kids watching this that this documentary speaks to their story. What do you want to say to children who might be struggling with their identity in America?
Oh my God, such a big loaded question. I think, what this film does is shows that everybody has value. It shows that what we think and the noise that we hear on the left and the right in the kind of ongoing political debate, that there is actually real people behind this, and people enjoy football, and people enjoy all sorts of cultures enjoy this stuff. So it's, I hope that people take away from this film that that there are real peoples behind all these issues.
Because this movie centers around this football game. Did you start off with it also having the socio-political layer to it, or does that just kind of come afterwards by default because of the current state of affairs and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that was really my motivation getting into the film, was that I wanted to explore this. I felt like people were talking past each other, and nobody was really, talking about the people that actually were involved in all of these discussions. And so, from the get-go, it was like, this game is a giant framework, for us to actually explore immigration, for us to explore, what American identity is. And these kids in the community just opened their arms, and you were incredibly welcoming.